Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge von Vampyr. In der letzten Folge haben wir ein paar örtliche Untersuchungen abgeschlossen und sind dann der Hauptquest nachgegangen. Wir sind jetzt auch fast bei der Hauptquest angekommen. Wir sind gegenüber. Eigentlich wollte ich eine andere Untersuchung machen noch, aber die war, glaube ich, hier hinten irgendwo. Ja, ich glaube, es war hier. Aber leider sind die Gegner dort noch viel zu stark für uns. Die konnte ich nicht besiegen. Die haben mich sofort kaputt gemacht. Und ja. Oh, da gibt es noch eine Ultimativ. Egal. Wir schauen auf jeden Fall, dass wir heute diesen Arzt finden, von dem wir ausgehen, dass er die Erpressung da ausführt oder so. Nee, EP habe ich letzte Folge, glaube ich, schon ausgegeben. Geh mal raus. Jetzt ladet es wieder. Naja, weil wir ja in ein Versteck reingegangen sind. Aber diese Ladesequenzen sind eigentlich relativ schnell vorbei. Sie brauchen eigentlich nur ein paar Sekunden, ein paar Minuten, genau. So, hier unten muss ich lang. Warum zum Geil kann ich eigentlich darüber? Erstmal muss ich niesen. Aber bin ich wieder? Musste erstmal fett niesen. Okay. Und da kommen wir. Da kommen wir raus. Okay. Hä? Die Richtung müssen wir. Ich sehe schon da rein. Da müssen wir rein. Wie gut ist sein Blut? Kennen wir noch nicht mal.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Finde Hinweise darauf. Muss hier hinter. Hä? Jetzt da.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nithercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
Hinweis verfügbar. Darius ist die rechte Hand von Dorothy Crane. Bronchitis. Okay. Dann hat sie also das Sagen in diesem Gebiet. Interessant. In das Gebiet müssen wir irgendwann mal wieder zurück und die restlichen Leute finden. Weil hier haben wir ja fast jeden kennengelernt. Mal schauen.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Ich hoffe einfach, ich werde nicht schon wieder von Leuten angegriffen. Da habe ich keinen Bock zu. Aber die meisten hier Level 15 oder so sind.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on,
Da
take
reden
a
wir mit den
look, don't be
Leuten.
afraid. Welcome, sir. Please take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
Okay, wer auch immer dieser Joe Patterson ist. Den. Aha.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Gewalt nimmt zu.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Neue Untersuchung,
Have
okay.
you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Scales wahrscheinlich, ja.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Dorothy Crane verteilt kostenlos Medizin.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Okay. Oh, ich habe sogar Waffen. Wegen guter Verkaufswert. Ja, verkaufen wir. Mann, ich will es verkaufen. So, reden wir mit dem hier. Dann bist du der Erpresser.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job?
So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
You survive at any cost, even at the expense of others. Perhaps that's just the law of nature.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Joe und Barrett waren früher mal gute Freunde. Okay. Und ich schätze, der Personenkreis hier... Ja, wieso ist der so... Hä, wieso kann ich die Schwester mit Stufe 2 schon hinters Licht führen und die anderen mit Stufe 4 oder so? Ja, Mann, na, geh mal einfach weiter.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane. Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Goodbye,
Okay.
Mr. Peterson.
Also doch nicht so schlimm, wie ich dachte. Der Schläger hier. Ja, mal. Ah, du scheinst wohl von der Erwachsenensorte zu sein, hä?
Don't be shy, handsome.
Sag ich doch.
What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling, but I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor, Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick, though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Alter, diese sexistischen, also die Sexwitze sind, ja, kann man schon mit einbauen.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Stimmt allerdings auch, ne?
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
Und er kann anscheinend einen Job finden, da sie Migrantin ist. Ja, gut, dass sie mit der Schöpfung erkrankt ist, ne? Das ist bei dem Job ja nicht gerade Ding. Ich verurteile sie nicht, ihre Entscheidung, ihren Körper zu verkaufen.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly. But it is not your concern, Doctor.
Wenn sie jetzt auch noch
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane
für sie
from
das
the
Geld
Pembroke
sammelt oder so.
Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Okay.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Also denke ich tatsächlich, dass sie vielleicht Geld sammelt für die Kranken. Oder Kind hat sie vielleicht auch. Ja, das kann natürlich auch sein, ne?
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All
Weil die Kirche keine
science is
Wissenschaftler mögen.
in a world of causes and consequences. And
Zumindest zu
most
dieser Zeit.
can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Du willst wie die Epidemie mit Feuer bereinigen. Alter, sowas nennt man richtigen Christen zur Zeit, als Wissenschaftsloch nicht so angesehen war wie heute. Holy shit.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Okay. Tobias glaubt, dass Joseph Larrabee, der Vikar von St. Mary's, einen falschen Glauben predigt.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Ja, moin.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
So you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work? But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Okay. Also war unsere liebe Krankenschwester so eine Art Freiheitskämpferin für ihr Land, oder? Habe ich das jetzt richtig verstanden?
Goodbye.
Muss ich nochmal hingehen, weil ich zu schnell weggedrückt habe. Ja genau, Widerstandskämpferin. Okay. Irgendwo muss doch... Okay, die zwei sind wieder zusammen. Dann bist du wahrscheinlich der.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Untersuchung in London. Zeitung berichtet.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
So, das ist eine Schande.
I served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
Ja, es erschöpft kurz. Clayton will, dass die Zeitungen die Wahrheit über die Situation in Whitechapel drucken. Ach, das ist die Prostituierte, das ist also Bekanntenkreis. Aha.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Okay.
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
Ja. Hinweis benötigt.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
Okay.
He has no relatives at all?
No.
Oh, er geht nicht raus.
Except for that
Vampyr.
strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nithercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out.
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Okay.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Gut. Dann würde ich sagen, ich beende die Folge hier. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Und in der nächsten Folge schauen wir, dass wir die anderen zwei noch finden. Ciao. Euer Gladius.